I've been using Cubase since 2003, I think, and it was actually complete coincidence because I somehow got a CD-ROM with cracked Cubase on it, and before that it was all 4-track recorders and like mini disc recorders, and then we got this CD that had Cubase on it and we installed it and we thought, well, let's just try it out, and it just has everything I need. The MIDI is great, the instruments are great, the plugins are actually amazing. I use a lot of the Cubase plugins like the compressor, stereo delay, and I think for electronic music it's just the DAW. I'm ARKADI, and I started making music when I was 5 or 6 years old, I believe. I always wanted to play the guitar, but my dad said that my fingers were too small, so he wanted me to start with the violin. Both my parents are music teachers. My dad is a guitar teacher and a piano teacher, and my mom is a piano and keyboard teacher. So we always had those instruments around: guitar, piano, keyboards. I wanted an electric guitar. My dad said, only if you finish the first book of classical guitar, I'll buy you one. So I hurried up and finished it in 1 month, and then my birthday was a couple weeks later, so I got my first electric guitar, and it was the best thing ever. And ever since, I was making music. I can take you through my template and how I start songs, and we can take a look at all the instruments and group channels. So this is my template, and this is how I start every song. It's I have 4 group channels, and all of them have compressors on them, and it's basically my 4 sidechain groups. Everything I have in my session, I send through my sidechain groups because I want everything sidechain to the kick, and sometimes to the snare, because I like things to be neat and tidy and clean. I also always use the same kick. I know a lot of people will say that's madness, but it always works. So this is the kick. Right. If I want a more hip-hoppy, trappy kick, then I just roll it off. And it's a more, a duller kick. Super easy. I don't know why. I don't know how I created this kick. It was in 2014 when I had absolutely no idea how to produce electronic music. And I think I grabbed something from a Vengeance pack and did something to it. I don't know what it was, but I still use the same kick. Right above the kick, I have a sidechain trigger, and this trigger sound, which I can show you, it only does this. So this basically triggers everything in my session, and it triggers all the sidechain groups. But since we don't want to hear it, I just set it to no output, so we don't hear it and we only hear the kick. There we go. So yeah, back to the kick. What I usually do is all bass instruments go into the first sidechain group called sidechain bass. The compressor ratio is 8:1 or infinity to 1, depending on your compressor. Release is 40 milliseconds. In my opinion, it works with most songs. If a song is slightly faster, then I can change it to 30, 20, 15, 10 is the fastest. Attack as short as possible unless it starts clicking. Then you can turn it up to 1 or 1.6. What I prefer to do is I prefer to print MIDI instruments and cut them all out and fade them. So manual sidechain, because it's just a little bit cleaner, and then it goes through the sidechain groups. Biggest tip I have for young producers and mixers is to watch a lot of videos of other people mixing and explaining how they do things. Nobody knows how to do anything perfectly because there is no perfect. So there's only different taste and different experience and a different skill set. What I did is I watched a lot of Pensado's plays and kind of just picked the things that I liked about mixing and producing. And then I just watched a lot of YouTube videos And I still do. Whenever I want to create a sound, like for instance a pluck that sounds like a deadmau5 pluck, I just YouTube deadmau5 pluck, and then somebody will explain how to do it, and then I try it out, and if it works, great. If not, next video.